A majority of the students were absent from campus since last year in March because of the pandemic, but an announcement made by the university president in the upcoming fall semester, campus will be at normal capacity. And how this works is for every purchase you make, your total cost is rounded to the nearest dollar. After gaining a certain amount of coins, those coins are then distributed to your liking. Aspen Heights, Atlanta experienced quite a few incidents of crime throughout the school year, but the most frequent type of crime seems to be car burglaries. As you can see behind us, there are cars lined up across the sidewalk and even on the other sides of the building, but a more volume of cars usually happen during the later hours of the day. You know, students are coming in all throughout the day, leaving valuables in sight, windows rolled down, and even car doors unlocked. Since the last incident that happened here at the complex, Georgia State Police Department, Atlanta Police Department, and even Aspen Heights are encouraging everyone to remember to lock their car doors and leave their valuables out of sight. Aliciava? And I'm here in the Petite Science Center laboratory, Mr. Wong, as we take our encoded sample and put it in our nanoparticles for mixing. Since the voting recount of the states Georgia and North Carolina, supporters of Donald Trump and Joe Biden have not been quiet. Some take their opinions to social media, while others do this. This past weekend, individuals came out in front of the Georgia Capitol building to express their feelings towards the presidential election.
And it's like bipartisan. It's just more so like my values, where my values lie. Like I was once, on that side, I mean? I was actually like going for the same things, but once you stand on principles, you can't even go for it. Like I'm talking about when you get rid of your emotions and you really look at principles, you're like, man, I can't even go for that.
My understanding today, there's a bunch of Trump supporters that have been rallying outside of the Capitol, and today it looks like they're here in opposition to the vote which has been decided for Biden, and they're here in opposition of that. Last year they were out here in an attempt to stop the electoral process, to stop people from counting votes. Okay. But it looks like this is just a similar crowd.
Traffic that drove through the protest blew their horns to show support to either side. Some even stopped to express a few words. But members of the support for Joe Biden didn't come in front of the Capitol to protest the election, but instead complete community service.
We organized an event to feed the homeless. We had it advertised on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And they came out here and stood in front of us. We spent hundreds of dollars on barbecue and homemade macaroni and cheese. We just wanted them to have a nice meal. And this is what it turned into.
Some even believe that no matter which candidate is in office, America is still going to be in trouble.
I think this all a setup for Trump. We are running out of food. Trump trying to be out of office for 4 years till this mess is over with. So what's the difference? Biden or Trump in office? Hey, America is finna be in deep trouble. China's already going through it, no food in India. They taxing on the billionaires to get the more money to feed the hungry. So go ahead and put up non-perished food and canned food.
Towards 3 o'clock, most of the supporters of Donald Trump left to protest in front of the governor's mansion, but a lot still remain in front of the Capitol. Keelin Berrian, PRN. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected some small businesses and their progress here in Atlanta, especially Black-owned businesses. Restaurants are operating as normal, but with fewer faces. Since the start of the pandemic, businesses across the country had to close for a few days to limit face-to-face contact and keep the number of COVID-19 cases to a minimum. In Atlanta, Helen's Hot Chicken is a chicken restaurant that started in Tennessee, then made its way to Georgia. The restaurant that once received a lot of business before are now starting to slow down.
Before it happened, it was a steady pace. Every day we was busy, we were doing good numbers and everything, but when the pandemic happened, everything went downhill. A lot of folks was scared to come out.
At the beginning of the pandemic, restaurants had to limit their sales only to takeout or delivery. After a few weeks of trying this new approach, the managers noticed there was an even slower pace.
We did But it seemed like we was losing a lot of customers. So we was like, as long as they have on masks, you know what I'm saying, at a social distance, at a certain distance, it was okay to dine in, you know what I'm saying, because we didn't want to lose no money. Okay. We didn't want to go down the drain.
Slim and Husky's is a pizzeria and another black-owned business. When they tried to have their opening in Atlanta, the restaurant had to be put on delay.
We opened post-COVID. Okay, so we were supposed to open in March, actually, and that is exactly when COVID hit the biggest. So, and that's when we delayed opening, and we opened Juneteenth, actually. Okay. We ended up having to open on Juneteenth.
The pizzeria wasn't affected much by the pandemic and still receives a constant flow of customers throughout the day. But like other restaurants, they still had to limit their hours for some of the staff.
Most businesses we have had to cut back. It really didn't affect us that much as we thought it would, but we've been doing pretty good with it. Hours have been cut, but they haven't been cut dramatically to where people can't, live their daily lives.
Okay, cool. The restaurants are limiting their hours of operation during these situations, but still plans to provide the same service as before. Keelin Berrian with GSU TV. If you have ever been in a situation similar to Milan Gary, then you understand the frustration that sometimes occur from living in Georgia State University's housing.
I'm definitely feeling frustrated.
On March 6th, Gary and her roommate's dorm was flooded by an HVAC pipe burst in Patton Hall.
It was actually my roommate who had called me. She FaceTimed me and she was like, look, and there was just water coming in from the ceiling,
damaging all of her belongings in the process.
GSU wasn't liable for any of my things, and neither was Corvius.
The two of them sent emails to the university housing and Corvius company, some containing invoices of her damaged belongings, but little to no response were giving back. Gary took her situation to social media, posting a video of her dorm that received over 3,000 views. Students from Georgia State were upset, posting comments towards the university. In response, the university made the same comment back to everyone, saying they empathize with her frustration and the matter is now with Corvius Company Living. And after trying to reach out to Interim Director of University Housing, Shannon Corey, she was unavailable to speak to us. Milan's post drew a lot of attention from those who attend the university and even started to see more responses to her emails. But all the university could do for the two roommates was move them from Patton Hall over to the student lofts.
I hadn't really been comfortable because they were strangers, so we ended up actually sleeping on our friend in Patton's floor for the next week until we were sent home. It sucked.
While staying at Patton Hall, Gary mentions that she sometimes had problems with the pipes, referring to having no water for a few days after returning back from winter break.
So I was taking showers at the gym, which sucked.
And even asked for help from maintenance.
Yeah, we put in so many maintenance requests the entire time we lived in Patton.
Gary has other siblings that were interested in attending Georgia State University, but from Gary's experience, living conditions would not be made in university housing.
I have 3 siblings, and all of them were looking forward to going to Georgia State, and I don't think any of them will be living on campus either in any of the dorms.
Keelin Berrian, PRN.